What's up, world? Andy tuning in one more time. And today I want to talk about something that is pretty minimal. Doesn't sound like a big deal when concerning your health. And it's something that I was thinking about, like going back in time in my head. What were some of the small things that first got me on this little path, this little journey? And then I thought about my little switch from consuming just regular commercially grade salt to to consuming sea salt. And I was thinking about how it helped me. And in the same book, the gallbladder flush and the liver flush book, he talks about it. So I want to go through a few little texts. So on page 87 in the chapter called "The Most Common Causes of Gallstones," this is in my version of the book. There's a few different versions, but I'll go over it a few pads. So natural sea salt, or it says in the common causes of gallstones is the chapter, and the different section is called effects of refined and unrefined salt. So it goes first paragraph. Natural sea salt contains 92 essential minerals, whereas refined adulterous salt, a byproduct of the chemical industry, contains only two elements, sodium and chloride, just two, NaCl. And compared to sea salt, which has 92 essential minerals, which is, right off the bat, what's the comparison, right? When cells suffer from a dietary deficiency of trace elements, they lose their ability to control their ions. This has direct consequences on the human body. Even if ion equilibrium is lost for just 1 minute, cells in the body begin to burst. This can lead to nervous disorders, brain damage, or muscle spasms, as well as a breakdown of the cell regenerating process. Now just think about that. Nervous disorders, brain damage, or muscle spasms. This might be affecting one's health, but think about it in the greater scheme of the human race, with all these things going on in the world. Can salt have a little bit of an effect? Commercially grade salt, just a little bit of effect? Something to think about. When ingested, natural sea salt or reconstituted seawater allows liquids to freely cross body membranes, blood vessel walls, and glomeruli, or filter units of the kidneys. Whenever the natural salt concentration rises in the blood, the salt will readily combine with the fluids in the neighboring tissues. This in turn allows the cells to derive more nourishment from the enriched intracellular fluid. In addition, healthy kidneys are able to remove these natural saline fluids without a problem, which is also essential for keeping the fluid concentration in the body balanced. Now it says, refined salt, however, may pose a great risk to the body. Refined salt, which is the salt that we find, I've worked in many kitchens, they use this salt, and most of the kitchens I've worked at, they use this salt, one, because it's easy to be produced, or commercially produced, mass produced, two, it's cheap. So where was that? Okay, so refined salt prevents this free crossing of liquids and minerals, thereby causing fluids to accumulate and stagnate in the joints, lymphatic ducts, lymph nodes, and kidneys. The dehydrating effect of commercial salt can lead to gallstone formation, weight increase, high blood pressure, and other health problems. Like I said, y'all, think about how this small little thing in our diet that we don't really think much of, salt, can have such a greater effect, so many ripples to the cause. Alright, the body requires salt to properly digest carbohydrates in the presence of natural salt. Oh no, just that alone, that sentence. The body requires salt to properly digest carbohydrates, which for most people in the US, carbohydrates amounts to like at least 40% of our diets, right? Bunch of pizza, pastas, so just another thing to think about. In the presence of natural salt, saliva and gastric secretions are able to break down the fibrous parts of carbohydrate foods. In its dissolved in ionized form, salt facilitates the digestive process and sanitizes the GI tract. And the next commercially produced table salt has just the opposite effect. To make salt resist the reabsorption of moisture and thereby more convenient for the consumer, salt manufacturers add chemicals such as desiccants and as well as different bleaches to the final salt formula. After undergoing processing, the salt can no longer blend or combine with human body fluids. Come on. This invariably undermines the most basic chemical and metabolic processes in the body. Water retention and kidney and blood pressure problems are the most obvious consequence of refined salt consumption. Refined salt is still added to thousands of different manufactured foods. Some 50% of the American population suffer from water retention, the leading cause of weight gain and obesity. Man, that's tragic. That's tragic. Let me see. And then, alright, so that's one part. And then another part of the book, my page is 150. Oh no, 144. In the chapter Simple Guidelines to Avoid Gallstones, under number 12, Eat Unrefined Sea Salt. Refined salt has virtually no benefits for the body, just taste on our palate. On the contrary, is responsible for causing numerous health problems, including gallstones. Okay. Alright, so it just says important functions of real salt in the body. What really I want to get into, besides what I already got through. And it adds a whole list. I'm going to read just a few, alright? So real salt in the body. It stabilizes irregular heartbeat and regulates blood pressure in conjunction with water. Real salt extracts excess acidity from the cells in the body, particularly the brain cells. Real salt balances sugar levels in the blood, which is particularly important for diabetics. Real salt is essential for the generation of hydroelectric energy in the cells of the body. Real salt is vital for the absorption of nutrient components through the intestinal tract. Real salt is needed to clear the lungs of mucus and sticky phlegm, particularly in those suffering from asthma and cystic fibrosis. Real salt clears up catarrh and congestion in the sinuses. Real salt is a strong natural antihistamine. Real salt can prevent muscle cramps. Real salt helps prevent excess saliva production. Saliva that is flowing out of the mouth during sleep may indicate salt deficiency. Real salt makes bone firm. 27% of the body's salt content is located in the bones. A salt deficiency and or eating refined salt versus real salt are major causes of osteoporosis. Real salt regulates sleep, acts as a natural hypnotic. Real salt helps prevent gout and gouty arthritis. Real salt is vital for maintaining sexuality and libido. Real salt can prevent varicose veins and spider veins on the legs and thighs. Real salt supplies the body with over 80 essential mineral elements. Refined salt, such as the common table salt, has been stripped of all but two of these elements, which is NaCl, sodium chloride. It's the basic chemical composition, that's the little equation, the formula of salt. In addition, refined commercial salt contains harmful additives, including aluminum silicate, a primary cause of Alzheimer's disease. Now, if that's just a few facts, just very few, and there's just one book, which doesn't really focus on salt consumption. It's just a little side note. That's why I recommend this book. It's been blowing my mind, rereading it again and again. But yeah, y'all, it's me, Andy, tuning in one more time. You might want to consider throwing out the other salt and limiting your eating at restaurants, because most restaurants do use these salts. Yeah, y'all, you might want to consider this small part of your diet of making taste pop up in our food, pop out, because salt is delicious. I enjoy it. Most of my cooking has salt, and just want to put that out there. May you consider this information. May you choose a little bit better. And with that, y'all, gotta get up out of here. I'm about to go to work, do some things, run some errands. Y'all take care. Peace.